Good morning, everyone. I'm hoping my audio is working okay. More stupid internet drama. Yeah, well, here's the thing. There was this documentary, it kind of was. I don't know what other words to use for it. And it was released about Comicsgate. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've watched most of it because it was really well put together. But I want to go over it and talk about it a little bit. Mistake, that song kicked ass. It's Dark Divine. Dark Divine is easily top 5 for me right now. If not top 3. Motionless and Ice 9 and Dark Divine. I'm pretty sure between those 3, I don't need any other music. Right? That's just how it is. Okay, wait, that's not true. You've got Pierce and you've got Slaughter and okay, that's not true, but still. Anyways, so I want to talk about this. I'm just gonna call it documentary. I'm just gonna call it that. I have no idea who this is. Now, mind you, I was in Comicsgate from very early Comicsgate, right? Like Inception area Comicsgate. OGCG, if you will. And, shut the fuck up, Zeno. I didn't even read all of it, but I said shut the fuck up anyway. It's been dead. It's short for it is. The sentence rated, it is been dead. Shut the fuck up, Zeno. I'll fix it after stream. My keyboard was acting up and I don't have an excuse. But it is funny to see things about Comicsgate now. Because it's become such a... the best way to put it is it's a fucking joke. It is dead. It is like kicking a dead corpse, right? Or a dead dog, or whatever you want to say. Stop it. It's dead. Let it die. But there is this, weird faction of Comicsgate, right? Somebody you guys are familiar with on this channel, and your mic volume is low again. Is it really? There, I turned it up a little bit. I had to fix it with Steph's audio yesterday, so I'm always constantly moving it. But it is funny to see, people you guys I've had on here before, like Tony, right, from the Geek Getaway, or nope, it's just Frog Tony now. I forgot. Join Comicsgate when it's burning to the ground. It's very weird to me to see these things, but somebody that's been around this area for a while, I think it's going to be really interesting to take a look at the history and everything. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Hooded. Good morning, Robert, who is headed to the con, to the Motor City Comic Con. That is fucking awesome, and I'm not jealous at all. Good morning, Raymond. Good morning, James. Good morning, Punk. Good morning, Reese. Good morning, Zeno. I guess. Punk with the cool guy emoji. Thank you so much. Good morning, Tavia. Weren't they always a joke? I'm going to say no. Because what Comicsgate started with was... a consumer movement, right? Customer movement. It was about better comics. It was about move the needle, support the good ones. It was about, pros being professional, stuff like that. And then it just became networking of small time creators that you might or you might not get their book, right? There are still quite a few that have not been delivered 5+ years. So, I won't say it was always a joke. I do think the idea was there. But I don't think the execution was ever handled very well. At all. Good morning, Bebop! It'll never not be funny that EVS goes out of ways to find videos about himself on YouTube. I think every YouTuber does that. I've never done that. Never done that. Ever. But it is pretty funny. This one's actually really well put together. I don't know who Mikey No More is. And this is the first video of theirs that I'm seeing. And I was seriously impressed. Like, I was very impressed at how well this was done. And not only, like, the editing, right? Because this is a 2-hour video. Obviously, we're not going to get through it. We're going to go through a few different chapters. But I was impressed at the editing. I was impressed at, like, so I'm not ever somebody that can do scripts, right? I can, but I sound very robotic. This is obviously at least got, you know, plot points to cover the main entries into the history of Comicsgate. And I was impressed. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. They did a good job, really good job. I thought CG was about respecting the customer, and that's one thing I mentioned. Yes, Bebop. That's one thing that was supposed to be a big deal, right? You were supposed to be professional as a professional. You were supposed to not disrespect your customers when they're the ones supporting you. And I mean, that lasted a few minutes. Not that long, because then you see a lot of CG also falling for those same things, right? Doing those same things. And Michael, good morning. He says, I did like early CG. I think you know that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I did too. I was definitely all in on supporting the customers. I was definitely all in on, you know, making sure you push the good books out there. Whatever is good, you're buying it, you're reading it, you're reviewing it, you talk about it, and, you know, every once in a while, light roasting on the bad ones, because those videos are always kind of fun. But still, it went away, right? Zeno says, every CG creator at Backed has respected me. The thing is it's not, right, it's about respecting your customer, but it's about respecting people in general. I'm not saying you have to be nice to everybody you have an interaction with, but there is a certain level of professionalism that early CG wanted, right? You didn't want to see, like, tweets about bashing in people's teeth, like Mags, right? But you're getting that kind of exact same behavior from those within current Comicsgate, new Comicsgate, whatever the fuck you would call it nowadays. I don't know what it is, even so. CG have winners and losers. The thing about every movement, it's not a movement, it's a network at this point, right? It was a movement, it's not a movement anymore. I truly think Eric July has become the right head bobble. The current big two have a bit. I don't know what you mean. The right head bobble. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I give Eric July shit all the time, right? All the time. No, not all the time. Like once a month. But he at least delivers his books, right? He at least ignores the bullshit that you see from, like, drunk-ass Ethan Van Sciver on stream saying, I used to be a somebody, now I'm a nobody. Like, it's just wild to me. It really is. It is. So we're going to take a look at this. CG is a brand at this point. And you know what? If they were smart, I think they've tried that before, right? To have some sort of imprint. But that's also gatekeeping in itself, because then you have to choose and pick who is on your imprint. But, I mean, if they were smart, they would do something like... I guess that's probably what All Caps was supposed to be. But then again, I don't know that there was ever anything that actually came of that. I don't follow it that carefully. Bye, Punk. Have a good day.
Way to kill a movement, to kill a coordinated effort for change. The first go-to strat will probably be to just murk the dudes at the top, but that doesn't always...
Did I start? Yeah, I started this at the beginning. I just wanted to make sure.
Always work out. The movements of Gandhi and MLK kept chugging along just fine after they both left the server, with new martyrs to boot. No, the most effective way to actually kill a movement is to introduce individuals with tons of charisma and ambition. but who don't actually give a shit about the movement, who are just really
What the
there
fuck
for
is
themselves.
this?
A perfect example of this was Gamergate, a movement that a decade ago was ignited over.
Like, I don't want to hear about, no offense to this person, I get the point he's making, but I don't care, I don't want to hear about Gamergate ever again. I'm good with that. Like, everything's Gamergate. Ooh, Boogeyman. I understand Gamergate had some serious harassment. I understand that there was some serious issues. There was also some serious hilarity in the case of, what was it, Bully Hunters? You guys remember that? Where there was like, I don't know if it was COD streamers or what, but they would like track down your bully in game, the one that accidentally teabagged you. Okay, they didn't do it on accident. They full well teabagged you, and knew you were a chick and enjoyed it that much more. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Bully Hunters was such a joke. Robert, thank you so much. He says, here's the thing, they technically already won. The big two, mostly Marvel, are never gonna be the worst they were years ago. Sure, Marvel is still worse compared to DC, but they're even making an effort to be better. CG claims they're as bad or worse. Hold on. Let's hit the rewind here. We should probably make sense. Or maybe I read that. Maybe I read that wrong. Technically, they've already won. The big two are never going to be the worst they were years ago. Okay, so what you're saying is, because the big two improved in quality, that they technically won. Even if it had nothing to do with Comicsgate as a whole. Right? Is that what you mean? I can see what you mean. Not a big Marvel person, obviously. I read DC. I still gotta read the new Superman, Alien Superman. Read a lot of indies. The problem is a lot of, there was some bad. There was absolutely some bad, especially at Marvel during that time. We're talking all new, all different era, right? But the bigger issues is that DC wasn't bad during that time, right? The indies were not bad during that time. So I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but Joseph says, any opinion on Common America and its creators? They fucking rock. They fucking rock. That's all. That's all that needs to be said, because it's true.
For gamer indignation at corruption and lack of ethics in games journalism. It was quickly. And when I say quickly, GG hard doesn't actual
He's just going to explain. He's just going to explain what Gamergate is. We know what this is, right?
17, when hashtag Comicsgate first began to circulate. While the drama of GG was still fresh in everyone's mind, CG was just getting off the ground, ruthlessly trashing the trash comics that had flooded shelves and long boxes throughout comic shops all across America, as well as trashing the malicious behavior of the people making them.
We're should have done this before. Let's speed this up just a little bit. I always speed everything up, and the one time I don't, I forget. Gamergate was successful. Look at what happened to every big Gamergate person. Has an audience the size of mainstream media. That's winning. Is Sargon still around? I don't feel like I've heard that name in a very long time. Shu, I still watch Shu, but I didn't find her during Gamergate. Like I mean, yeah. Chris Raygun, I haven't seen him around either.
Against fans all across social media. You probably didn't know any of this nerd shit was going on. And I don't blame you. Even most geek communities, till this day, still don't know exactly what Comicsgate is all about outside of it involving comics. Contrast that with Gamergate, which, while still a niche, spoke episode, Gamergate were the people within the American comics industry. In the American
So I had no idea until this video that there was like a CSI about Gamergate. That's so... That is so cringy. I'm sorry. It is. Like, there was real harassment to be had during that time for some of the women involved, right? Not even debating that, but holy shit, they made a CSI about it.
Comics industry is very, very small. Just to quickly convey how small the American comics industry actually is, there's a manga called Kimetsu no Yaiba, better known as Demon Slayer if you aren't a complete fucking weeb. It's pretty...
Oh my god, did Demon Slayer... Okay, I've gone on this tangent before, but I'm going to do it again. Demon Slayer is fucking torturous. I watched 17 episodes of that shit. What are they, half an hour piece? What is that? 7.5 hours of Demon Slayer. And I wanted to pull my fucking eyelashes out with a tweezer, and I feel like that would have been more fun. I do. I feel like that would have been more fun. It was not good. It was not. I know there has a huge fan base and it's a hot take or whatever. It was not interesting. I got to the spider lady that was a DV survivor, and I gave up. I tried, guys. Anime was a mistake. Well, not all of it. I like Death Note. There's a new Death Note game that is being released free on PS Plus, and it's like a more convoluted Among Us multiplayer game. I don't know. I kind of want to check it out, though. Robert said, I meant CG keep the big two as a boogeyman for clout and grift. Of course, you have to have an enemy, right? Without an enemy, where you go, like, I mean, they do, but I also think more we've seen a pivot towards attacking other creators, right? I don't know. I don't watch enough EVS to know for sure he still could go after those, but I know he goes after, like, Yellow Flash and Young Rippa a lot too. So you always got to have an enemy, and they've got to be incompetent and strong at the same time, right? I know that sounds really dumb, but you've got to be able to frame it depending on what emotion you want to bring out in somebody, right? Good morning, Keely.
Popular. I'm sure a lot of you watching this have at least heard about it. At the peak of its popularity, Demon Slayer was not only the most popular manga in Japan, it was the most popular comic on the planet. Demon Slayer was so
that
popular
is wild to me. It is not good.
Entire America.
It's got to be the kid factor in all of this, right? Because it was just not good. Like, I actually read quite a bit of My Hero Academia. I was entertained. It reminded me of X-Men. I thought it was decent. I tried to get into Demon Slayer, and it was so fucking bad. It was so fucking bad. No, he didn't. No, he didn't, Cowboy. No, he didn't, Bebop. No! He said, EVS said that Eric July almost kept Trump from being elected. Stop it! No, he didn't. You know what? I believe you. I believe you, because he doxed somebody one time on his stream, and I caught it, and I asked them to take it down, because I'm completely against that, and he said he had to keep it up for the Republican senator in New Jersey, or whatever. I was like, what? Okay. Okay.
American comic industry by itself. This is the dwarf-sized state of the modern American comics industry, and this was the catalyst for #Comicsgate. CG started as a movement of fans of comics who hated what their hobby had become and wanted the industry to change. It definitely had elements of a culture war, but it was ultimately a consumer revolt. The OGs of Comicsgate, some of the most prominent including Captain Cummings, Ingleteen, Unranked Chevron, Douglas Ernst, and Rick.
Shout out to fucking Ingleteen. He is still, I still get his, I have notifications from for Ingleteen on, and he is fucking awesome still, right? Except for those, like, 3 times you ditched me, motherfucker. Nah, he overslept when we were supposed to debate. Ingleteen's awesome. I've seen he's been doing a lot of, like, I don't know if it's tier listing or, like, ranking of different covers Really, really cool shit.
Richard Meyer, aka your boy Zach, had YouTube channels that predated the Comicsgate hashtag. A lot of them followed a format of taking a modern comic and tearing it apart figuratively, and in Meyer's case, literally. They would also critique the pros themselves.
Like, this is so fucking weird going back this far in time. But I was like full in. I thought diversity in comics was like one of the, like, I don't have anything against Zach whatsoever. But like, I always thought it was funny because like, one thing I've been very vocal about is femininity, right? That's a big deal. You take it away, it's almost a slap to women, right? You're trying to be more inclusive by being a little exclusive to femininity. And I remember him having like I don't remember what cover it was, but it had Supergirl on it, and he was like her B cups, her something, and I like that. From that moment on, I thought he was awesome. God, I am old. Fucking facts. No, not you, Tavia, me. Not you, me. Nerdette ignoring the check because it's correcting her. Wait, who's correcting me? You can't correct me about my opinion on Zach. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. Weirdo. And we were talking shit about you earlier, too.
Which was the easiest thing to do because the American comic industry has some of the most brain-rotted, terminally online professionals.
Oh my God, Joe Glass, stop it.
American comic industry has some of the...
This guy, this motherfucker, like passive-aggressively a few years ago was talking shit about me because I invited him on to talk about his Pride comic. That's all it took. It's me. What? I'm not going to be mean to you. I don't bite. I'm going to be mean to you. Especially if your name's Tony. No, that's just me. I poke fun at people I get along with, right? That's how I am. Completely respectful. Pride Month. Invitation. And he's over there on his social media like, this right-wing, commie, Nazi, something. I don't know. But he's ridiculous. About Eric. What about Eric? Because of the election? No, that's fucking asinine to say, Tony. I don't care if Eric told people not to vote. I don't care. At the end of the day, it's the responsibility. I mean, he has influence, that's for sure. But don't tell me he almost cost Trump the election. That's fucking retarded, Tony. That's retarded. Stop it. See what I said above? No, probably not. Let me look. Still will never forget you praised Evie. Oh my God, when he went out with an unranked Chevron. Yeah, shut the fuck up, Robert.
Most brain-rotted, terminally online professionals of any industry I've ever seen. The way these niggas were straight up disrespecting the
Wait, Atoshigo, what's the return of Asshole Gate? What is that? I need to know. Oh, you're talking about the election. You're definitely okay. And my screen is off just a little bit here. I can see it and it's bugging. You're talking about the election, yeah. I think I've talked about that quite a bit. How much of a bug it is. But you know, this is a democracy. Come on, motherfucker. There we go. This is a democracy and the people spoke. So fuck the people. No, I'm just kidding.
shit out of their own customers. You would think they
Yeah,
were
the culture war is only gonna get worse.
out of
Let's be
Most
real.
of them were not. We're not talking regular bro. We're talking begging strangers on the internet for rent money.
Fucking Mags. If anyone wants, isn't Mags always begging though? This isn't the only time. And they use Mags like this boogie woman, boogeyman, whatever you want to say. Like, Mags has all this unyielding power in comics when nobody wants to work with her. She had one good book, and it was Ginny Hex. Actually, I think she wrote a Poison Ivy story I like, too. But they use Mags and some of the others as, like, this boogeyman, right? They're going to queer your comics. They're going to do this. No, they don't have the power. They just don't.
Broke. Still, CG struggled for a sense of legitimacy. It was a grassroots movement of aggrieved comic fans, but that's all they were. Comic book fans. They were consumers who had lots of critiques of the industry, but they were still just a bunch of...
Doug Ernst was cool too. I don't know if I'm sure he's still around. I had him on when he released Soul Finder. He was a cool guy.
Non-comic book making nerds on the outside of the industry looking in, and the industry could dismiss their critiques as such. At least that's what they could do until a very talented, charismatic, and ambitious comic book artist, freshly exiled from the industry, found his new home in Comicsgate. Ethan Van Sciver.
The king of Comicsgate. Here we fucking
Ethan
go.
Van Sciver, also known as EVS, Uncle Ethan, the Human Sunbeam, Caesar, and the king of Comicsgate, is a distinguished veteran of the comics industry, making his debut in comics with Cyberfrog in 1994.
So what was your first published work? Cyberfrog #1 by Hall of Heroes, the most reputable independent comic book publisher in Elkhart, Indiana.
Despite all his time in the industry and the credentials he amassed within,
Doug Ernst is still doing Soul Finder. Good for him. That's awesome.
He was a little too right-wing to hang in the now super leftist comic industry, allegedly.
I was about to say, do we believe that? I don't know. I think there is a world and a path where that is possible. I also know and have seen how EVS acts, as most of you have, and know that that's also a good possibility. I've also heard about his deadlines. So, I mean, like, there's a path for all of it. If he says it was because he voted for Trump, I mean, he's not the only Trump supporter. He wasn't the only Trump supporter. He isn't the only Trump supporter at DC, right? So, I don't know. He looks like a retired werewolf? Did you mean retired or retarded? Okay.
I gotta add that in because Ethan also expressed that his reasons for leaving was that he felt like a small cog in a big machine and that he wanted to leave DC to spread his wings and work on IPs that he actually owned. It might seem inconsequential, but it does fundamentally change how you might view Uncle Ethan's entry into Comicsgate. Was he really just a political refugee who was essentially forced out of the industry?
No, but it's a better story, right? And Ethan is a storyteller, right? He is good at that. It's a better story to say, hey, you guys all support Trump. You guys all hate DC. How can I tie this together? Oh, they fired me because I support Trump. It's a much better story than I wanted to spread my wings and fly. I didn't make my deadlines. This is what I'm saying. I don't know. None of us really know. We can only, theorize. We were not in the room. We do not know why his contract was or was not, renewed. But it is a better story.
For being openly Republican? Or was he always planning on leaving DC once his contract had
expired? I mean, Bill Willingham, for one, comics and cartoons.
He was heading anyway. I'm breaking this up because Uncle Ethan ain't exactly the most honest guy, and you're gonna see that he's not just the king of Comicsgate, he's also the king of opportunism. Now, some of you might be wondering, Mikey, how could Ethan Van Sciver be the king of Comicsgate when he wasn't one of...
Actually, you know what, Reese? You know more people in this kind of sphere. Do you know this person? This, Mikey No Mo? I'm curious. I'm not familiar.
Of its founding members? That's a very good question. One that even Comicsgate OGs who witnessed the rise of EVS are still a little confused by.
When EVS first showed up on live streams and started backing Comicsgate and everything, we thought it was a boon. Oh my gosh, we have not only a comic book professional,
I love that they're showing such respect to Ingleton. That's so great.
And, all of a sudden, we're doing our thing and we're saying, King of Comicsgate, what?
Oh my god, the cope from Tony right now is fucking insane. This is just another Eric July ball washer trying to tear down CG to prop up Eric. He barely speaks. I mean, towards the end, it gets into Eric. But you came into Comicsgate when it was like a minute from dying, right? Okay, all right.
He's the newest member. What are you talking about?
Oh my God. Raymond says, anyone else that remember that time he debated Tristan and tried to pass off an email that he wrote to himself? Yes. Okay, I do remember that. But also, do you remember he came in and was like praying, right? Dear Lord in heaven, please save this woman's soul. She is a sinner. Bring her back to Comicsgate. And then literally less than a few weeks ago, fucking smoking weed on camera, getting drunk as fuck. Now, mind you, I own my shit. I've gotten drunk on stream plenty of times. I will tell you, I smoke weed every night. But I don't pretend to have the holy ground and then prove myself a hypocrite over and fucking over again. I mostly watch Jack, EVS, Shane, Mandy, and a lot of movie reactions lately. Okay. All right. I just wasn't sure. I figured you were the person to go to when it comes. And I know you're not like crazy Comicsgate. Rah, 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 rah. But I just wanted to ask.
Comicsgate. And I'll tell you what, he repeated the lie so much it became the truth.
See, when Ethan pulled up on Comicsgate, he already had a connection via Richard C. Meyer, the then most popular affiliate of CG, and everyone in CG was immediately wowed, because this wasn't just a commentator, this was an accomplished, talented veteran of the industry, and an ambitious and charismatic one at that. See, EVS is the type of dude politicians and business execs, thank God, stayed clear of their careers and went into comics instead. He's equal parts a natural born...
I mean, just watching that little bit, though. When I'm assuming that was him drawing Iron Man there. Fucking talent on that man is unreal. Like, I will give him shit every day of the week for how he acts. But the talent, you cannot take away from the beauty of his artwork. Like, I still have some of his old, Jessica Cruz stuff. Still have the work he did, was it during Metal? It's just, he was one of the best artists at that time. Can't take that away from it. Reese says, Ethan is going through something serious. All right, I won't give him shit about the drinking then. Because I honestly don't care, right? But, I hope whatever he's going through, he gets the help he needs. Spiffy!
Car salesman, and an asshole. And these qualities of Uncle Ethan are ultimately what killed Comicsgate. Well, he didn't do it solo, but he definitely was the MVP of this shit. The first mortal wound inflicted on early CG actually didn't come from Ethan, but from his internet platonic boyfriend, Richard Meyer. In March of 2018, Meyer put out a vid about Brian Pulido, the creator of the comic Lady Death, and he talked about...
Oh my God, Brian Pulido, you know what? While we're giving credit where it's due, Brian Pulido fucking rocks, right? Brian Pulido is out there selling Lady Death every day of the fucking week, doing new Kickstarters, putting out new merchandise, doing things with the mainstream and without the mainstream. And you know how he's selling his shit? You know how he's selling that? Through talent. He's not making arguments up with people. He's not jumping into the culture war bullshit. He sells Lady Death on the fact that people love Lady Death and love Brian Pulido. I love it.
How Pulido had grossed tons of money through several consecutive successful Kickstarter campaigns for his books.
So this is Brian Pulido, who's a popular indie comic in the 90s. He's come back strong like bull in the Kickstarter game. I just want you to
strong like bull.
He's coming up on 250,000 sales. So he's backed 47 and he's created 11. And this is huge. He's on $250,000 for a comic. It's just
because he fucking rocks.
One, I think he does like every 6 months or so. He does one, and he's been steadily making more and more each one.
I'm pretty sure he's doing them more often now. And then we also had that crossover recently that was so good. It was Lady Death and Zombie Girl, I want to say. Oh, it was so good. Brian Pulido's awesome.
This gave Meyer, who was already making plans with John Malin at the time, another comic pro who would follow Ethan Van Sciver's lead and leave the industry for Comicsgate, the encouragement to finally pursue a plan he'd been thinking about for a while. Rather than go through the traditional model of indie publishing and deal with Diamond's costly, antiquated-ass bullshit, Meyer and Malin would just crowdfund their new comic book, Jawbreakers, instead. That man on the outside looking in era of Comicsgate was now officially over. And this right here was the first mortal blow of Comicsgate as a movement. It fundamentally shifted the character
facts.
and purpose of Comicsgate.
You know what though? That it could have still survived. That wouldn't have been an issue, right? Some of the books that came out of Comicsgate were well done. They were delivered on time. But the problem is it was the exception, not the rule. The problem was most of the people sometimes didn't even deliver, or delivered shit-ass quality, or charged too much. There was so many issues, but that really wasn't the issue. Had you had creators like your boy Zach, right? He delivers in a timely manner. I'm not saying he's the greatest writer, but he still keeps to his word. He's not out there scamming people.
CG was no longer just a consumer revolt. No, now it was a brand. Before, CG was a bunch of industry outsiders, just commentators who, through passion and love for the medium alone, talked
They're
about
still well
comics and
done,
drove for change in
good.
the
That's
industry.
awesome.
Now you have guys like Ethan Van Sciver, John Malin, Mike S. Miller, and even Earthworm Jim creator Doug TeNapel throwing up that hashtag Comicsgate set. And they weren't doing it out of pure passion and love for the medium like the OG CGers were. Now they were doing it to sell.
The OG CGers were, I mean, even Zach, to his credit, were fans of the medium and wanted better for it. When it became a brand, it could have worked. Again, the issue was the politics of it all, right? And I'm not talking about it being a right-wing movement. I'm talking about the backstabby politics of it all. The shit that, like, I know Mike S. Miller has talked a lot of shit about me since then, and that's fine. But there was a time I genuinely felt for this man. The way he was treated by Ethan was absolute dog shit. He was treated so badly and berated on stream. I mean, I was shocked, and he did cute little books. Like, sometimes they, like, he did Lone Star, not Lone Star. Was it called Lone Star? I don't remember. His main one, his first one. But then he did really cute, like newspaper books, right? I think it was Bless This Home. It was really well done, and Mike is so talented. And they treated him so badly. So badly.
Sell comics, to get super chats, to move merch, to make money. This was great if you were someone who mainly just wanted to make money selling comics without still being part of the mainstream industry.
Lone Star is still delayed. Oh, wait. Like, he hasn't come out with a second one? Or, holy crap. Oh, the campaign failed. Okay. Smiller is a big baby. Okay, so you guys can call him a dick. And be like, he is a dick. He was a dick to me, like, personally. But I can still look at the fact that Ethan treated him like utter fucking shit for saying his beliefs. He's a very religious man. He said pride is a sin. I don't agree with it. Doesn't mean I hate him. Just wild fucking shit Ethan pulled.
If you were someone whose main purpose in Comicsgate didn't involve stacking paper to the ceiling, well, Doug TeNapel put it best.
I think the problem with Comicsgate was always that it was I've always said this, that it's a brand that pretends to be a movement. It's a business that pretends to be a movement. It's a YouTube fandom that pretends to be about comics. And there's trusting, well-meaning, great creators and backers that think they're contributing to a movement or a cause, and really, it's a compromised business.
This was a few years.
That's a really good. Oh man, this is like fucking ancient history here. Earthworm Jim. That shit was good. His stuff was always super quality too. Those what was it, the hardcover books that he did, so good. Wait, hold on, I'm trying to see. Mike literally boiled a frog on air. That's fucking weird. Like doing like a mukbang or something. Like I've seen that shit before where they like catch fish and boil it. Is that what you mean? He tore up his kid's cyber frog right in front of him as he was crying. I did watch that video. That was pretty shitty, right? And that was a emotional retaliation to what Ethan had done to him. Let's not even pretend. Too bad Doug realized he made more YouTubing. Yeah, his channel blew up there for a while. I remember a couple years ago. But, I mean, Doug is talented. For sure. For sure. He's always got, like, he's not gonna have a hard time. I did feel really bad for him when he went through that stuff with Sean Gordon Murphy, right? And again, two people that disagree on religion. Oh my God, imagine that. They can actually get along. No to piss off EVS. Oh, that's funnier then.
Years after he left and eventually disavowed Comicsgate. Now, why would Doug TeNapel do that? Well, don't worry, we're gonna get to it. Now again, the transition from hashtag to brand was just part of what killed early Comicsgate. There were several more steps, and all of them involved Ethan Van Sciver. The first was when a few CGOGs like Doug Ernst and Captain Cummins noticed that gatekeeping was becoming more of a thing in Comicsgate, with the guy—
Wait, we are at a place now where someone needs to turn to EVS for ruling. Who should be a gatekeeper? Of course that's literally... He came on Ethan's show just to say he hated him. Ethan... Stop it. I don't care. All of this stems from how Ethan treated him. Like, that's where it all started. Like, if Ethan would allow me on a show just to say I don't actually hate anyone, but disliked him, I would do it. Ethan's a dick. Ethan treats people terribly.
everyone seeming to defer to for who's cool and who's not being EVS, who was surprisingly pro-gatekeeping. His logic being that gatekeeping is a problem for SJWs because they're evil, but it's cool when we do it because we got to keep out those evil SJWs. Captain Cummings in particular wasn't a fan of this growing shift in CG.
Look at that Batman,
and he definitely
though.
wasn't a fan of EVS, who's the main source for a lot of it, and he voiced as much both in his videos and in his infamous tweet. Well, at Ethan Van Sciver can keep the money. I don't want a shitty Ninja Turtle ripoff. Do I need to fly down and say it to your face to be a man, or are you just gonna tell me to kill myself? Seems comic pros always end up being the worst people, like DNC has stated multiple times.
Fucking
At the time,
facts.
everyone thought Captain Cummins was just having a tism fit.
Wait, hold on. Ethan and Miller treated each other terribly. No big deal. Well, it is a big deal when he had his kids in the room. Like, he was sitting there berating him. I remember being in that live stream. Like, I felt terrible for Mike Miller. And then the way he kept trying to bring him back, the fact that Mike kept going back is like an abusive relationship anyway. But still, it was fucking terrible.
Going off for no good reason. Maybe because he was just jealous that he was now just a commentator in Comicsgate, while Ethan, who came after him, was both a more popular voice in CG as an influencer, and also had the most crowdfunded CG project, Cyberfraud Blood Honey. But looking back, Captain Cummins was really just peeping the bullshit from Ethan Van Sciver several years ahead of everyone else.
Comicsgate is evolving into your typical hierarchical struggle for...
Wait, hold on. Why does this guy look so familiar? Does anyone... Reese, I'm going to you again. Who is this? He does look super familiar.
Control and influence. So Captain Cummins is accusing Ethan Van Sciver of being a new gatekeeper of comic books. Yeah, it probably is, actually. Seeing his personality type and looking into what Ethan Van Sciver has done before on Facebook in the groups that he had there, he always tends to end up leading a cult of personality type of situation, with him as the fulcrum and all these different characters then almost sparking from his central Green Lantern battery. So he found his new group as Ethan Van Sciver. He's found a new little group to take over, and that group is Comics.
You missed a lot. Mike is not even close to the good guy in this. And I understand. I probably did miss a lot. I'm telling you what I saw, how it started, right? As compared to where it went. I'm telling you how I saw it start. And most of it started over a tweet that Mike put out. And I remember making a video about this because I'm telling you, I was all in at CG at that time. He said, pride is a sin. And Ethan got mad and wanted to censor him. That's how it started.
Skate. And I think what Captain Cummins is doing right now is reacting against a hierarchical, almost natural, organic even, but a takeover nonetheless.
Ethan, with his new circle of comic pro capos, had effectively turned Comicsgate into his own personal internet fiefdom that he would have the most influence over, in which his own platform, Comic Artist Pro Secrets, served as the central hub of. He might not have been officially crowned, but Ethan Van Sciver...
That's who it is! Thank you, Michael! That's Rorschach Reviews! Damn it, I knew it. I knew the face in the name, or in the voice. I knew it. Okay, thank you, I appreciate you.
Undeniable king of Comicsgate. But Captain Cummins wasn't going for any of that shit, so he peaced out, nuked his channel of almost all its CG content, and left the movement he started, but had quickly become unrecognizable to him, behind. He may have been the first major figure of CG to disavow the movement and bounce, but he wouldn't be the last.
Oh my god, we're gonna get to Tim Lim. Poor Tim Lim. So Ethan thought saying stupid stuff like that at a time when CG was new wasn't a good look. Right. So don't ever let me hear that Ethan is for free speech again. Because he censored him. He censored not only his thoughts, but his ability to associate with CG and his religion. Like, I don't agree with the statement that Mike put out. I am, obviously, most of you guys know, I am pro-LGBTQ. Don't agree with Mike here. But I agree that people should be able to voice their opinion. They have the right to their religion. They have the right when they're indie. They're fucking indie to not have some other grown-ass man say, you can't say that. You can't say that, you bad, bad boy. You've been naughty.
If you looked at Comicsgate in 2018, you would think CG was on the road to great things. They had multiple books in the works with crowdfund campaigns that were doing crazy numbers.
Okay, so I reviewed a lot of these. I reviewed Lone Star. Hold on, let's back this up.
Great things. They had multiple books.
I reviewed Ravage, Kill All Men.
Crowdfund campaigns that were doing crazy numbers.
I don't know if I ever ended up reviewing Red Rooster because I got a little annoyed that I had to buy it at Walmart first.
Their YouTube channels were blowing up like crazy, and articles both pro and anti-CG were popping up and showing the community's growing influence. The sky looked like the limit, but just like Icarus, Comicsgate fell as it was getting too close to the sun. Or rather, the Frog King kept yanking the movement back down to his dirty-ass pond, with one drama arc after another. One short but pretty important one was with a guy called Theodore Beale. Beale, better known as Vox Day, the Dark Lord, or Teddy Spaghetti, was a writer and games journalist turned far-right blogger.
Oh my god, fucking Vox Day. This guy is like crazy way. Like, I know people call it people, you know, alt-right, white supremacist. No, this guy really is. Like, no joke, he is. Oh dear Lord, Red Rooster, that was a trash fire. I still, to this day, love that video of, what was it, Mitch? Just banging his head over and over again on the keyboard. That was such a fucking misstep for them. They never recovered.
Been a veteran of this culture war shit for a good minute, going blow for blow with SJWs in the Gamergate trenches. In fact, he had been publishing comics with right-wing politics long before Comicsgate was a thing, and he claims it was never about money.
You know, I don't own Comicsgate. I don't own
But you sure tried to take it. You sure fucking did. You sure did. He censored Doug too. For sure he did. Right. Exactly. His religion made him talk shit about fruits, which is unacceptable. No issue with that. So stuff you just don't want to... Right. He doesn't need to associate with it. He can't say they can't be Comicsgate though, right? Right? At the end of the day, he is pro-censorship. That's where my issue is. Like, I'm not... obviously, I have no issue against queer people. but I also have no issue against somebody else having an opinion that is different than mine. That is the issue with Ethan. Everyone has to step in line with what he thinks and be completely of the same hive mind.
Arkhaven, I don't own Dark Legion. I don't own any of those things. The idea that we are doing this because we think that it is somehow going to make money.
This is like watching one of those history
Which is
channels.
what
That's what I'm
every
saying.
podcast
It's a
says
really
about it.
well
When
done.
Comicsgate got underway, Vox thought his day had come and threw himself into CG's growing roster. He believed that the conservative cultural title
Quit playing, Reese. Doug didn't leave because Comicsgate didn't hate homosexuality. That's not why he left. And you know that's not why he left. Though I did piss Doug off one time. So, I was reviewing a comic book and it was pretty anti-religious and I pointed that out. And I messed, you know, like I always do, in typical me fashion, messed up my words. And I said that the book was more blasphemous than the Bible. And I obviously didn't mean to say it like that and I pissed him off. There's no hive mind. Stop it. Stop it. Xeno's got jokes.
wave he had been dreaming of was finally coming in and planned to surf it into a successful crowdfunding.
Good morning, Loki. Good morning, Undead Quinn.
Drawn by Helix Hayes and written by comic industry legend Chuck Dixon. And he succeeded for a few weeks until Indiegogo shut his campaign down in October. Now, why did they...
I feel bad for Chuck Dixon. I liked Chuck Dixon so much when he worked with DC, and then he worked with Vox Day, and then went to fucking Eric July. Like, what happened, buddy?
do that? Well, apparently a leftist and dedicated anti-Comicsgater, Jason Youngbluth, successfully cucked Vox Day by convincing Indiegogo that Alt Hero supported hate speech and far-right sentiments. Now, it didn't really. Despite what the title might suggest, Alt Hero 1 and 2 were basically Tom Clancy graphic novels.
I never actually read those.
Alt-right about them. But that didn't spare Teddy from getting his spaghetti spilled all over the floor. He would sue Indiegogo over this, but the more annoying legal dispute for him would be over the Comicsgate trademark. See, back in early September of 2018, Vox Day announced that he was starting a new imprint, Comicsgate, and that this imprint would be used to signify that a comic was 100% SJW free. A lot of CGers
I would love to see proof of that, Reese.
Who had succeeded in turning the Comicsgate hashtag into a brand already, and even had a show, Comicsgate Live, where he would bring other creators on so they could pitch their books to the audience. Vox Day, on the other hand, had literally never used the Comicsgate name for anything up until he announced his imprint.
People were so pissed. People were so
pissed. With a level of confidence that only a white nationalist / disgruntled games journalist / Gamergate veteran could possess, asserted that he wasn't stepping on any legal toes because the Comicsgate trademark still didn't belong to anyone, since nobody had filed for it yet. Tragically for Vox, a Florida man would cuck him out of his ambitions mid-stride, just like Indiegogo had. Antonio Malpica, who was fundraising for his own comic and was very partial towards Ethan, actually applied to register Comicsgate.
I'm gonna skip some of this Vox Day shit, just because Vox Day is so inconsequential to... I mean, there was like a blip during that time, but I mean... Does anyone actually read the Arkhaven shit? Like, I checked it out initially because it was Chuck Dixon, then I realized the quality of it, and I never went back. Just never went back. What hive mind? Some comic creators felt entitled to Ethan's platform, and they don't get it, and they claim they had to kiss the ring. I said one... We want to talk about hive mind? I said one thing that Ethan didn't like. And it was the shit show ever after that. Had nothing to do with going on his platform. I don't give a fuck about his platform. Right? There is absolutely a hive mind in CG. Let's not pretend that they're not like-minded individuals that stay in line.
Comicsgate. When I say that's not what I want, that doesn't mean that's how it's going to be. Somebody just asked me my opinion about it.
Hear that? Uncle Ethan's not the Kang of Comicsgate. We know he's not because he keeps telling us. And you can take Uncle E at his word, which is exactly what Tim Lim did.
I know
oh my God,
yep. is coming from because of an exchange. I found out about it the day after it happened. And
Frugal! Captain Frugal's here! Right here.
So
see, in the corner.
Right here, and I'd like to read it to you.
Tim took Ethan so much at his word that he brought the transcript of a previous stream and repeated Ethan's words back to him verbatim.
And this is what it says. I said to Zach, and I said to all of them, quote, stop making these Trump comics. Stop. I think Chuck is working on some Trump in space book. Look, it's not 2016 anymore. We're Captain Comics is
oh, wow, shocker. He's censoring somebody else again, right? Reset, everyone wants to pay attention to what Ethan does, but not the people around him. It's not hard to see. People use him, get paid. Don't think they need him anymore. Talk bad about him and quickly find out. Right, like Tim Lim, who... Oh, right, that was Ethan talking shit about Tim Lim, right? And Nerkish? And all the other people he forced out of Comicsgate by talking shit to them. Also, all of the gay ups he did with, oh, right. I love you, Reese, but you're wrong here.
Of I said to all of them, and that's not true.
Right, because, okay.
He revealed that Ethan was sneak dissing him in his books and said that he had shared these sentiments with Meyer and the others. But Tim talked to the others in Comicsgate, and nobody could confirm that story. Now, Ethan claimed that he didn't know that Mark Pellegrini and Tim Lim were working on a specific Trump book he was talking about, but there were only like 4 niggas making Trump.
All right, also, if you've never seen My Hero Macadamia, it's fucking great. It's awesome. It really, really is. It was a great book. As a person that disliked Trump, it was awesome.
Books at the moment, one of them being Tim Lim, who worked on Thump, My Hero Macadamia, and his future campaign, Trump Space Force.
And this one, all the art is very anime. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. I never read Trump Space Force. I should have.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Mikey, Ethan already knew about Trump Space Force and that Chuck Dixon was working on it. So how could he know that Chuck was writing the book, but not that Tim Lim was drawing it? That's a good question. One that Ethan struggled on this stream to come up with an answer for. Honestly, all this, we don't need these political Trump books, and CG talk of EVS just came off as kinda gatekeeperish. And not for the more justified...
If you say you're not getting during this time, I was absolutely not getting secondhand info. Maybe now. For sure now. Like... Absolutely now. But I was here for all of this. So it wasn't secondhand info. Trump Space Force was fun. I have no doubts. It's Tim Lim, right? Like his Black Ops, his... everything he does is great.
Reasons he had with Vox Day. This just seemed really petty. In fact, this might all seem like petty stuff to you. You might even think Tim was being a little oversensitive for bringing this up during his and EVS's very first interaction with each other. But this little interaction meant a whole lot to Ethan. Timothy Lim had broken one of the unspoken rules of Comicsgate, a rule that's obvious to everyone in CG now, but wasn't as obvious back in 2018. He called out Ethan on stream for lying and made him look stupid. Ethan couldn't even argue because Tim was literally using his own words against him. He apologized and essentially bent the knee to Tim. Timothy Lim made Ethan Van Sciver kneel in their very first interaction with each other. Nah, this seemingly petty interaction stuck with Ethan. The Frog King wasn't gonna let Tim just go out and live his regular life after this, because Ethan was gatekeeping. Tim was making these Trump-themed books and giving outsiders the impression that Comicsgate was a pro-MAGA movement, while Ethan was trying to keep CG as politically neutral as possible. Right-leaning...
But you don't get to decide that, right? Like, I'm not a... They were parody books. They were fucking parody. They were jokes, guys. They were jokes. We're offended by jokes again. Oh, God. Here we go again. But were you there and don't know about the Nerkish stuff with Cecil? The Nerkish stuff was all about a fucking Discord. It was about a Discord. And Nerkish, if you guys have never seen... Again, I don't agree with most of these people politically. I don't know why I keep having to say that, but I don't. Because, you know, people like... Yeah, like the actual fandoms of the world will be like, oh my god, she said these guys are funny, so she's an alt-right fascist, da-da-da-da-da. You know that's gonna happen. But, Nerkish, his channel, I don't know if he still makes content. He's fucking hilarious.
Centrist at the absolute most, desperate to rid himself of this meddlesome Asian Trump supporter from Arkansas who made the movement look a little too conservative for Ethan's taste, and who had also bitched him on stream in front of everybody. EVS would dip into gay ops territory for the first time, but Ethan was smart enough to know that he couldn't get his own
the business with cash grab.
He was trying to get rid of Tim, so he would lean on what was essentially a shitposter task force made up of fans on the fringe of Comicsgate who would engage in all the psychological warfare that Comicsgate proper couldn't do without fucking up their optics. Still, they would be pro-CG and, most importantly, pro-Ethan Van Sciver. The name of this group was War Campaign.
Oh my god. Yes. We need to talk about this. Actually, we live in a post-joke society, you chud. I'm sorry. I like jokes, though, so can we go back to sanity? Sanity?
No,
Fucking
I'm not
facts, you know.
bullshitting. Ethan Van Sciver really had his own personal internet troll army called War Campaign, led by a coked up Canadian with a talent for getting into internet drama. Oh wait, that's the wrong Canadian. That one's
Was that Andy Worski? I'm pretty sure it was. Cash grab led to a lot of issues. Yeah, that was after. Quite a bit after. Not quite a bit, but a while after the issue with the, I think there was, if I remember correctly, some anti-Semitism and shit on the Nerkish Discord, and Ethan didn't like that because, I believe Renfamous had found it. I don't remember. She's crazy too.
sober. I'd be surprised if Roe had been substance-free for even a full month in the past 6 years.
I made my way up through the ranks, motherfucker. Taking out opponents. Gay up by gay up, motherfucker. First thing I did, handpicked selected men from the peasantry, men who I could trust, you understand? Got some leverage over them, so a little bit of down picks, a little bit.
The fact that, okay, you guys, he asked, in order to be in War Campaign, you had to send dick pics. You guys, this is real life we're living in. This is some weird fucking LARP that went on way too long. Not gonna lie, I feel like it's more and more acceptable to make old school jokes again. You know what? I actually do agree with you. I do agree with you to a sense. I think we're getting back to an era where jokes are less offensive, and the people that are offended, people care less, right? People just stop caring about the outrage.
Bit of poontang pics.
Mia Khalifa. Okay, yeah, that's
All right,
fair.
Let's do this. Who wants to fuck shit up, motherfuckers?
He was the undisputed leader of War Campaign and the most loyal member of Ethan's Legion.
Hello, my name's Praetorian. You may know me as a former member of the Inner Circle of War Camp.
Okay, Praetorian here was the one that Ethan doxed. And I tried to get him to remove it, and he refused. Because some political person, some senator, some Republican senator, needed it to stay up, you know, for history. His docs needed to stay up for history for the Republican Party. You guys, this is not a serious man. This is not a serious man. So from what I'm learning today is that post-Ingleton era CG never matured past high school drama. More and more, I am glad that I never associated with a pack of morons. You know, and I don't think that many in OGC, like not everyone. I felt like there was more sanity in OGCG. There was a lot of people that just wanted to share and be communal about the books that they enjoy and the ones that they don't. And that's really where Zach came in initially with his, what was it, hashtag move the needle stuff, right? Showing receipts for the good books that you bought. That was a thing for a long time. It was about propping up what was good and not taking the disrespect from comic creators and not supporting their books. But it didn't last long, and that's the really sad part.
Here you can see that Roe says I'm an integral member of War Camp.
Robert said, War Campaign tried to rope me in as their treasurer. I do remember this. After the previous guy left, I told them on stream I do not believe in their methods. Yeah, you mean the gay ups? The dick pics? You don't believe in that? You don't believe in, you know, the jokes about Anna's sister? Or going after Anna because you didn't like her cover? Again, don't agree with Anna. Don't watch her content. Don't care for her. But don't want to see her put down in that way. Or anybody. Like, that's when, like, the world generally, no matter, and what Anna went through, I will never be able to understand because I've never been there, but I can be sympathetic, and I can, at that time, I tried to spread the word when her sister was still missing. And you know what they did? They dumped on her. They dumped on her. And it took that for Ethan to leave? It should have been, you know, all the doxing, all the harassment before that. No, okay. Because it happened in the public, you finally left. But all the stuff behind the scenes? Yeah, okay.
Campaign. At the very head, you have Ro Kabir Kumar, who is the absolute undisputed leader of War Campaign.
Who is Anna and what did she go through? That Star Wars girl. Right? It was, I don't actually remember how long ago it was. Maybe 5 years ago. Her sister went missing. And ended up, she had died in a car crash. Really, really, really fucking sad shit. Still feel bad for Anna to this day. I can't imagine. They made fun of her. They made fun of her for it. I believe her name was Ellen, if I remember correctly. Still, have no idea how Anna felt that day. But seeing jokes at your expense about your dead sister? Fucked up.
Run like this. It goes through Ethan Van
That
Sciver
rage bait
most
girl.
times,
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Ro,
That
to
Star
the inner
Wars
circle,
rage
and
bait
then
girl.
From the inner circle, it'll go out. War Campaign doesn't like people who criticize Ethan Van Sciver. At all. If you are critical of Ethan Van Sciver, you are...
And the funny thing about this is, it wasn't the first time they went after Anna, right? She reviewed Cyberfrog, and they went after her for her criticisms, and her criticisms were so milquetoast. So milquetoast. It wasn't even the first time.
Immediately in War Campaign site.
That's not me making a joke, by the way.
It was suicide? Wait, it wasn't a car accident? Maybe I'm misremembering. Holy shit. I apologize for saying it wrong. I had no idea. I thought, what, did she do it in a car? Why do I remember a car? Oh my god. I didn't know that. Oh my god. She's now having a baby next month. That's awesome. Do they know if it's a boy or a girl? That's awesome.
These dudes literally LARPed as Roman legionaries.
No, not a car accident. What am I know I have a bad memory, guys. But that is something I should remember. I apologize.
Van Sciver as their Caesar.
Hail Caesar, hail Caesar, hail Caesar, hail Caesar, hail Caesar.
Oh, I know you pressed play on this video expecting insanity and brain rot to be gradually introduced. Nah. Even back in 2018, when Comicsgate was still a young and healthy movement, we already had this
baby
level of
boy.
autism
Aw,
pumping
that's
the community back. And
awesome.
again, this was all just to get rid of Tim Lim.
That War Campaign is a collection of your fans. I mean, this is really where it started, Caesar. This is, I mean, you know it. You know, this is it. We wouldn't be on the internet otherwise. I don't think we would have started a channel.
Well, you just brought up Tim Lim. Tim Lim's the whole reason why we formed.
While War Campaign.
He literally just said, wait, hold on. I want to make sure I say this correctly.
Well, you just brought up Tim Lim. Tim Lim's the whole reason why we formed.
While War
You just brought up Tim Lim. Tim Lim's the whole reason why we formed. Oh. Loki, I can totally agree to that. She is not as bad as Melanie Mac. Melanie Mac's full-blown insane. Like, funny insane, though, right? Like, it's funny to fucking watch her shit because she's so fucking stupid.
Campaign would eventually succeed in their original mission of getting Tim to fuck off. It wouldn't be through any direct attacks on him. Tim would leave CG of his own accord after War Campaign claimed the scalp of a co-creator of his, a fellow CG affiliate who would also become a bit of a thorn in Caesar's side. Nerkish. Now, Nerkish
we're gonna get to... Nerkish did rock. I wonder. Now I gotta look it up. This documentary is nailing... This... I'm still shocked at how good it is. Oh, I'm not surprised or subscribed to Nerkish anymore. Apparently.
To those of you who say these concerns are...
Oh, it's all political shit. That's a bummer. It used to be so funny. They would make fun of, like, fat chicks and stuff. I know that's, like, low-hanging fruit. Hold on. But they used to be, like... They used to like roast. Oh no, they deleted all their old content. Okay. You guys suck now. Okay, wait. Maybe this isn't the right channel. Well, it looks like it probably is. Well, that's a bummer. They used to be hilarious.
Wasn't CG per se. By his own admission, he was only Comicsgate adjacent at best.
You were involved with some Comicsgate-y stuff, right?
I guess I was involved with it and that I knew people. The people who discovered
She's the Okay, talking about Melanie Mack, Gary says she's the stereotypical blonde that's not blonde. No, she's like your Facebook drunk aunt that believes that Kanye, like this is not a joke, she really talked about how she thought Kanye was a clone. And now he's back. But the old Kanye, you know, the Nazi Kanye, that was a clone. Like, oh my God. Most YouTubers are flip-floppers. Okay, hold on. I agree and I disagree. Right? There are certain values you hold true that you don't flip-flop on. But when new information is presented or you find something else, you can't call somebody updating their position a flip-flopper just because they got new information, right?
stuff were in Comicsgate. I just wanted to make fun of woke. I don't like woke stuff. I think it's funny. I think it's cringe, and then I got lumped in with them. But once they wanted me to like carry across, I was like, I don't give a fuck about this stuff.
He didn't really care about comics or any culture war nonsense at all, really. But he did like making
videos
but he was
talking
funny.
about
Stupid shit. And modern comics had plenty of that.
On a side note, did you know that Mags has a GoFundMe to get fake tits? Here's my question. Why do you need fake tits when you already have them from being fat?
A lot of the CG community liked Nerkish content.
See what I mean? He was okay. Yeah, I mentioned that he made fun of like fat chicks. I didn't mean specifically Mags, but it was funny in the day. Like his roasts were so fucking okay. I remember the video that was so good by Nerkish, and he was roasting. Oh, there was a comic. There was a Joker comic where he had a little monkey. And I can't remember what Joker it was, but he roasted the fuck out of it. It was awesome.
He even was occasionally brought on Ethan's stream along with Cecil, who was a CG member, whenever EVS needed some chaotic energy. There was even a comic in the works between the two, with art being done by Tim Lim. Now there was one problem. Nerkish was a little too edgy for Ethan's taste. More precisely, Nerkish's Discord was a little too edgy.
He's got this Discord where he's a free speech absolutist and he could absolutely let these people in. I started to receive pictures of his Discord of an extreme. And when I say extreme, I have a good sense of humor.
Nerkish said some really shocking things. Yeah, for sure. For sure. But that comic review, I remember being so good. And I'm like, you know, I'm not funny, right? I'm a woman. Of course I'm not funny. I wish I could have this level of roast in me to think of these things. He definitely was edgy. But again, I don't believe in necessarily going against people and censoring them when they have nothing to do with you. They have nothing to do with Ethan. They're just friends.
Extreme anti-Semitic material.
Now, Nerkish didn't really control or even contribute that much to his Discord. He popped in a few times to talk, but for the most part, it was just a Discord server with his name on it that he didn't have a whole lot to do with. And because Nerkish is such a adamant free speech advocate, something he naively assumed most of CG were, he never bothered to moderate and just let the guys there make whatever edgy memes they wanted to when he wasn't around. Then, returning to the stage for a second time, entered Jason Youngblood. According to Ethan's sources, Youngblood, along with other dyed-in-the-wool anti-CG SJWs like Rentfamous, had peeked inside the Discord, saw it was a disgusting bed of Nazis, and somehow these SJWs managed to get Nerkish's docs.
I start to receive...
Okay. I don't think his docs ever got out there, to my remembrance. We'll see here in a second. But, it's very weird that they did get it. Cowboy, or Bebop says, Actual Fandom is going full schizo on his channel on an upcoming live stream. It's titled, I Tried to Warn You! Somebody needs to keep tab on this dude before it's too late. Isn't it already a little too late with that guy? Like, I feel like it's a little too late.
Word that Nerkish is about to be doxxed by the same people that kind of hang out with Rentfamous. And I get very concerned because Nerkish's privacy is important.
Okay, and if they had his docs, quit playing. If they had his docs, why would they be holding on to it and communicating with Ethan instead of... Okay, alright. Loki says, I recently bought Flint Rock to see what the rage bait was. It ended up being pretty good game. Plus, you have a purple fox god as a sidekick. I have seen that. I know it's on Game Pass, so I might check it out. I've been playing this game called Spiritfarer, and you have like a little cat as a sidekick, and you basically you bring people. You're a ferryman for the dead, right? You take their souls. You help them finish their things they haven't done in life, make them happy, and then take them to the Grim Reaper. It's really fucking good. It's so sad.
They would drop it if Nerkish didn't shut the Discord server down. Man, that's crazy. That anyone bought this bullshit story from Ethan 6 years ago. Like, are you serious right now, bro? So let me get this straight, Ethan. There are these anti-CG SJWs who managed to get Nerkish's docs out of nowhere, and they want to drop it because of some edgy jokes in his Discord. Rather than dox this guy they believe to be a Nazi immediately and further validate their claims of Comicsgate being full of far-right Nazi chuds, they sit on it and say they won't put it out if Nerkish just shuts down his Discord. They want this alleged Nazi to get rid of the Discord with all the evidence of the alleged Nazism they're trying to expose him for. And somehow it was you, Ethan, who just happened to catch wind of all of this ahead of literally...
Exactly. Nobody bought the story. Okay, people bought the story at the time. But people also knew that this was an underhanded threat from fucking Ethan. Come on now. Stop it. He was just mad. Nerkish was a lot more funny than him. Nerd out women are funny. For example, what do you call a Satanist woman? Bloody hell. Oh my god, that's funny.
Everyone else, including Nerkish?
Jason Youngbluth and people around him were threatening to dox Nerkish and then tie him to me and Comicsgate, and thus successfully bring down our Indiegogo platform.
Ethan, I know you're a comic illustrator.
Wait, hold on. I need somebody's memory here. Isn't this that pedo guy? Lady Lethal or something like that? Isn't that who that is? I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure it is. So the story was bullshit, basically. And Tug was there. I remember when Tug used to be in Comicsgate. I have no idea what that motherfucker does now. After, does he still do comics? I know he did the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard stuff, but after that, I have no idea what the fuck happened to Tug. Oh, I've been hearing a lot about that game, Tevia, the new Dragon Age game. I hear the Steam numbers are pretty good, but then I see that the game kind of looks cringe. Looks a lot cringe. There might be some cringe in there. I think it was Little Lady Lethal. Yeah, that's the pedo guy. If I remember correctly. Obviously, Ethan didn't know. Nobody on this panel knew. But still.
And thus successfully bring down our Indiegogo platform.
Ethan, I know you're a comic illustrator and not a comic writer, but come on, bro. You gotta be able to come up with a better narrative than this. Was it really the SJWs who were raising a ruckus about Nerkish's Discord?
Tug is court drama? Okay. Okay, that does make sense to me. Like, I feel like that's where his specialty always kind of lied, right? He's always been good at breaking down shit like that, and yeah, that adds up. Good for him. I don't want to watch it, but good for him.
What happened with Vox Day's campaign that vindictive SJWs like Renfamous or Jason Youngbluth could get Indiegogo to take down the campaigns of supposedly far-right creators. And you, who have become hyper-vigilant about anything in or adjacent to Comicsgate that could be classified as too far to the right, had War Campaign fetch Nerkish's docs, pass it on to the SJWs in question, and then gave Nerkish an ultimatum in the form of a friendly suggestion to either get with the program and get rid of his Discord or kick rocks down the street.
I mean, but was anybody surprised? Okay, I was still a fan of Ethan at this point. And this is kind of where, well, a little bit before this, where I started to see the bullshit, right? Through the cracks. Is anybody surprised at this point that Ethan doxes people? Like, he's done it live on air. Are you surprised he would do it behind the scenes? I don't know. Bye, Spiffy. Thanks for stopping by.
These are obviously all rhetorical questions because a former member of War Campaign literally confirmed everything I just said.
Here you can clearly see that Han and Gat are talking about Comicsgate Anonymous. That was an operation that we ran to go ahead and expose the Nerkish server and to run Nerkish out of Comicsgate, or in an attempt to. We didn't want to be have these attached to our main account, so we went ahead and made a
Huh. You mean Ethan did it all? Again, are we shocked? Are we shocked? But he talks about whisper campaigns and pretends like there is this secret cabal of women in the comic book industry when he was doing this shit to people? Yeah. Fucking hypocrites.
called Comicsgate Anonymous, and we went ahead and ran ops, leaked that shit to Renfamous in the hopes that they would take the story and run with it.
Nerkish was the first real in-group casualty of War Campaign, and this little Discord drama, as small as it was, really was the point of no return for early CG. EVS was now starting to move like he was some indie comic dictator, complete with sycophantic followers and secret police in the form of autistic shitposters who LARPed like they were...
Is it just me, or does Reese's comment seem super ominous? Have fun, Robert. Careful what you eat. There may be something unwanted in it. Maybe it's just me.
Were members of a Roman legion.
There are people who think I'm ordering War Campaign, and that's why this meeting exists right now. I want to make
I
it clear,
remember
that,
this.
War Campaign A does not represent me. Not one.
You were 100% or... People bought this. People bought this shit, you guys. I bought this shit at the time. Well, I was about half C. But he ordered War Campaign to get people's docs. And then went on stream and I don't know.
One bit, and I am unaware of, and I do not ever and have never asked War Campaign to do anything to somebody else ever.
And people keep saying stuff like, we were never told what to do, we were never told what to do. I was in so many Discord. Ethan would get mad and pull us in a Discord, and yeah, he'd definitely start telling us what we can and can't do. And then if someone starts breaking the rules, then you get row down your throat.
Looks like Captain Cummins was on to something when he called the human sunbeam out his name earlier. OG Comicsgate was dead, and in its place stood Comicsgate 2.0. The hashtag had successfully been co-opted and monetized by Ethan Van Sciver. Ethan also finally managed to get rid of Tim Lim after Nerkish got snaked on and bailed on the cash grab project.
Wait, finally, I don't really remember Tim Lim wanting much to do with Comicsgate after that whole situation. He's kind of just been doing fine on his own. Like, I know that War Campaign went against him, but he kind of just fucking ignored the shit, which was the smartest way to go. So glad I missed all of this. CG was such a... And I mean, this was kind of the end for a lot of people, right? When they came out and said, yeah, this motherfucker told us to dox people. This motherfucker told us to harass people. People were like, wash their hands of it, right? People were sick of the bullshit by then. But then you've got like... I don't understand, and maybe I can invite Tony on one time to talk about it. Why would you want to, when CG is on its death door, why would you want to join it, knowing what type of people these are? This is a pattern of behavior. I don't know. Anyone else remember? Michael says Edwin. Boy, yeah, and Nasser. Yeah, absolutely. Nasser's young motherfucker. Edwin was cool. He always had that, like, he had the greatest voice. I did some voice work for him in A Christmas Carol, I think it was. I wonder if that's still up on his channel. And he did the narrator voice, and it was awesome. It was really fun. Let's go to, I feel like we should get, well, let's Let's go to
followed suit
fulfillment.
and left CG to focus on his own future projects with Mark Pellegrini. This would be a blessing in disguise for Tim and Mark, as they would go on to make a campaign for their successful comic series, Common America, and also found their own comic book print, Iconic Comics. The OGs of Comicsgate also weren't
fucking
happy.
killing
Unlike
it.
Tim, who just quietly packed his bags and headed out the door, they raised a bit of a fuss before they dipped out.
Comicsgate, it was a grassroots consumer movement, and for
All right, we're gonna go to
Was that
fulfillment.
this
We need to talk about fulfillment. Even Yellow Flash left CG says it all. I mean, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't like Yellow Flash either, but I mean, there was when I was a brand new baby in Comicsgate, Yellow Flash tried to warn me about Ethan. Couldn't say it publicly, but he did try to warn me, so I'll give him credit for that. Bye, Tavia.
The age of CG was going to be very short-lived. The first of many major headaches actually originated back in 2018 for Richard C. "Ya boy" Zach Meyer, a veteran of the Marine Corps and one of the founding fathers of Comicsgate. Now, despite being treated as Comicsgate's Moses, Meyer was never officially a part of the movement.
A massive porn star. Sorry, had to.
This never stopped Ethan from encouraging other CG pros to keep working with Meyer and encouraging his fans to keep supporting Meyer's campaigns and generally just globbing and glazing your boy to completion. Now, back in May of 2018, your boy hit a little chrome dome-shaped speed bump named Mark Waid, a distinguished comic writer who had an Meyer.
No, I want to. This was called fulfillment.
Who might be, have ulterior motives or might see an easy payday, looking to shill some stuff and try to make a quick buck.
Little did Jim realize that he was preaching to a den of heathens, most of whom would become the very bad apples he was warning them about. Even Ethan, the king of Comicsgate himself, would be very late fulfilling his first book,
Here we go.
Blood Honey, which was supposed to be in the backers' hands by November of 2018, but wasn't actually fulfilled until December of 2019. Matter of fact, let me just go through a list of CG-affiliated creators who launched campaigns.
Yellow Flash tried to convince me to never do positive comic videos, and later he insulted me as retarded a few years ago. That wasn't that long ago. That was when what was that? When JDA kept trying to go after me. He still does. I have him blocked in my email. Every once in a while it'll pop up on spam. And I'm like, do you think I'm gonna reply to you? Do you think I care about you? You're a weirdo. Like, alleged wife beater weirdo. No, I'm good. Good, leave me alone. Who's the massive porn? Oh, I was just making a joke about Zach. He was in a porn. It really wasn't that serious. It was just giggles. But yeah, Yellow Flash, he did try to warn me about Ethan, which was nice of him, right? He didn't ever tell me not to do positive comic reviews. He just would say the negative ones work better and number ones always work better. That was pretty much it.
Before 2020, and we're behind schedule with fulfillment. I'm going to be nice to your boy Zach and exclude Jawbreaker's Lost Souls because he actually had an excuse for his book being late. Well, for his first book being late. Monster MD by Von Clouds. Due early 2020. Fulfilled April 2021. 1 year.
1 year. Okay, so.
Late. Cyberfraud Blood Honey by Ethan Van Sciver. Due November 2018. Fulfilled December 2019. 1 year and 1 month late. Long.
What's the cutoff for you guys, right? When it comes to fulfillment, for me, I have a pretty strict 6 months rule, right? Because I know things happen, and unless there's something totally out of your control, if you go over that 6 month mark, I'm not backing you again. That's just too long for me. I know I may be more strict than some, but if you're going well over a year, I'm good. You're not getting money from me again. Yellow Flash told everyone his comic is coming. Hasn't he been saying that for a long time? Isn't it like a Power Ranger Disney Mickey thing? I don't know. I do remember seeing some art from it, and it looked good. I'd never back anything Yellow Flash, but I do remember seeing something.
Long Harbor by Alejandro Mirabel. Due February 2020. Fulfilled July 2021. 1 year and 5 months late.
Yeah, that's way too late. It's done when it's done. See, that's what I'm saying. I may be more strict when it comes to my money. 6 months. That's it. I was Trevor from, I can't think of the name. He did Minutes to Midnight recently. I was a little annoyed that one was late, but he had an actual reason, right? There was There was printing issues at the time. But yeah, I'm very strict on my stuff.
Mr. Badass by Donald DeLay, due April 2019. Fulfilled April 2021, 2 years late. Red Rooster Golden Age by Mitch and Elizabeth Brightweiser, due March 2019. Fulfilled April 2021, 2 years in 1 month.
But don't worry, you guys. You can get it early by going to Walmart. Yeah, they fucked. They fucked up. Robert said, I made an exception during COVID. Well, yeah, I agree there. But for me, it's a year tops. I mean, I understand that. I'm just very strict. Like, if you're telling me that something's going to be in my hands in December, it should be in my hands in December. I'm giving you a 6 months window. And that window is just because I know shit happens.
Late. Brand by Antonio Bryce and Cannon White, due January 2019. Fulfilled April 2021, 2 years and 3 months late. Death Sworn by Carl O'Rowe, due April 2019. Fulfilled April 2023, 3.5 years late.
Oh my god, I would be so legit mad. I would be so mad. Reese says, I'm on a buying freeze because of late books, Zach included. And I get that. 3.5 years late? My god.
Doom Kicker by Elliot Fernandez.
Ooh, I like the art for that. I don't know who that is, but that art is very intriguing.
Due February 2020. Fulfilled never. 4 years and
never
9
mind.
months late in counting.
Oh my god.
Red Crimson by Antonio Malpica and Shinobi Sasquatch by Cal Jameson. Both due October 2019. Both fulfilled never. Both
oh my
5
god.
years late in counting.
What? Ooh.
Sovereign by Andrew Huerta, due May 2019. Fulfilled never. 5 years and 5 months.
Wait, I didn't realize there were so many books that were funded. Like, and obviously he's not including the ones that shipped on time or, or 6 months late or something like that. But I didn't realize there was so many that were funded that never showed up. What happens in that situation? Like, do you get your money back? Do you make a complaint? Do you lose out? Holy shit.
Slate and counting. And finally, Conflict Claws Out by James Dean Anderson, due April 2019. Fulfilled never. 5.5 years late and counting. The craziest thing about James's book being over half a decade late is that he's still working in CG under Ethan Van Sciver.
And you'll have the line 'em up Tommy gun.
Why would you ever back anything they did again? Ever. Some bolt with the money, some mismanaged, some burned out. You don't get to get burnt out. I'm sorry. What? Excuse me? I don't know how much those campaigns made, but even if it's $10,000, you don't get to get burnt out. You took somebody's money. That comes first. I'm burnt out. Kiss? Oh, no. No, I actually do remember Shinobi Sasquatch. I remember that name. You lose the money if it's Indiegogo. Didn't Indiegogo? Aren't they putting in protections against that or doing something along the lines of at least trying to? Okay, we gotta go for a little bit of Rippa before we end here. Got about a half an hour left. We need to see the Rippa and Ethan stuff. I'm just saying that's the claims. No, for sure. I know you are. But no. You don't get to do that. Nope.
metal band lead vocalist slash anti-SJW slash talking head pundit for The Blaze slash geek culture enthusiast, with his latest career ambition revolving around one of his oldest loves, American comics. He'd even make a podcast for it in 2019 called For Canon's Sake, where he would specifically offer commentary on comic books, the industry, and how SJ...
Wait, is this why Tony tried to say this was an Eric July ball glazer or something? We're literally, like, I skipped around obviously, but we're an hour and 20 minutes into this. And he's just now mentioning Eric. The cope is real. The cope is real. The guy behind Shinobi Sasquatch worked on Graveyard Shift books. So is that John Malin, I want to say? I think. Why is it so late? What's the excuse? There's no excuse. There's no fucking excuse.
JWs were destroying classic heroes like ISIS did ancient artifacts. As Eric's following grew, he started brushing shoulders with other influencers from geek culture communities, the Fandom Menace, Geeks and Gamers, and of course, Comicsgate. All this fraternizing wasn't just for networking or making content either. Ripper was gathering data, stacking up his research while he worked on a project that would shake the whole YouTube comic creator game up. Like early CG, young...
Here we go. This is more recent. We don't need a Rippa origin story. We're good on that. I don't really care. No, not Malin. He's working on the backup books. Well, those will never get delivered, apparently.
The Dick Masterson community isn't very big, but it is very passionate. They really love them some Dick. And they're all insane, obviously. They're fans of Dick Masterson in 2024. Host Zipspiracy. Host making Vito his co-host. They have to be crazy. Now there's this...
Like, I only found out who Dick Masterson was because of the review when it came to ISOM #1. Like, was this a big influential person that I had no idea who it was, or has he been around online? Like, I don't know. No, Malin is Graveyard Shift. All 4 shipped on time. There we go.
One guy, Riley, who really stands out among the pack. He's Dick's producer, but he's also got a side hustle, doing piss pornography with his autistic saggy titty, furry porn drawing.
Nope.
It literally calls herself autistic booty.
I don't know if he, like, obviously that must have been public, but if he didn't have permission to use that in there, I don't want to show it.
Aside from being Dick's producer, Riley's also one of Dick's most zealous flying monkeys. A real Dick writer, just down for absolutely anything.
I love
and when
these
he saw Dick
memes.
going at young Ripper, you know he had to jump in and help his big bro break that buck. But regular trolling wasn't going to be enough for the piss porn prince. Nah, he had to take it up a notch. He created a parody character of young Ripper 59, branding himself Young Clipper 69. He only had one mission, becoming Eric July's...
Oh yeah, we watched that video. That video was pretty funny, not gonna lie. There's always a legal risk with crowdfunding. No, I understand that. And I totally get that. You can get screwed over. But it sucks. It sucks for the consumer. It really does. Mint is nice. Mint hates me. She's not nice to me.
Ultimate nightmare, his biggest menace, his greatest op. But Riley ran into a snag as early as August 2023 because Eric's soft, fake libertarian punk ass, unable to handle the fire that young Clipper was spitting, nuked Riley's Twitter from orbit and false struck his...
Okay, I do remember this. Yeah, he did the false flagging campaign against Riley. That was fucked up. That was beyond fucked up. So now Eric July and Alex James are comfortable with false flagging any fair use commentary, mockery, and parody of the Rippaverse whenever they want to. Yeah, that's fucked up.
His parody store on Teespring down. That's right.
That's right! That's right! That's right!
Eric July is a flaming flagging. But this flaggatry will be his undoing, because the way the DMCA process works, Eric ended up accidentally doxing his own business address to Riley. Young Clipper wasn't gonna let himself get punked. He was gonna get at them cheeks. Now, some of you might be wondering, Mikey, how could Eric DMCA Riley's Teespring store or his Twitter? How could he DMCA Riley for parody at all? Shouldn't everyone who does parodies be getting struck down all the time then? Your confusion is understandable and easily answerable. None of this happened. It's all a lie.
What? Okay, I covered this to some degree. This is just not, like, this did happen.
Dick Riders was a lie. Riley's Twitter going down had nothing to do with Eric July. It went down because he broke Twitter's terms of service. Ripper also was...
Well, yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Who took down Riley's Teespring store. Teespring took down Riley's Teespring store after it was brought to their attention that Riley was in...
I mean, is this exactly the same? Right here, is this exactly the same? That's pretty fucked up. I didn't realize that. But obviously we know it's parody, so I don't see why it needs to be taken down.
Out of the Rippaverse trademark, which Teespring doesn't allow, so they shut it down. Something to keep in mind is that there were a few people who actually did get DMCA'd by Rippaverse Publishing, and those people could always show receipts, including...
I'm guessing... Okay, so this is when Eric was taking down... So I don't know if you guys remember, there was a period in time when ISOM first came out, and it was actually uploaded to Read Comics, or Read All Comics, I'm not sure which one. And people were showing it on their social media, and he was DMCAing people for showing, I don't know if they were all big portions of the book. Some of them were not. Some of them were just sections, like Vicky, and Vicky ended up winning, right? Because it was criticism. It was fair use criticism, fair use commentary, and Ripple was butthurt as fuck at that time.
Including the business address someone posted on Twitter, which is how Riley actually got it. Despite him and Mint Salad and Dick and Vito and all the rest of their tribe claiming that Eric was responsible for taking Riley out and giving out his business address to him, no receipts that any of that shit actually happened has been shared. But hey, whatever. Who cares about...
I spread... Whoa, not reading that. Holy shit. I know all these people are trying to hustle, so I avoid the drama shit. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. It's also why I try not to do so much drama, right? I wanted to do this because I was there, right, at the inception of CG. But normally, like, once a week drama, that's plenty for me.
Receipts. Yugoslavia collapsed because a freaky nigga in Serbia lied about Albanians breaking a bottle off in his ass, when it was really just a solo prostrate stimulation session gone awry. A little lie can go a long way, and this lie would serve as the catalyst for the dickhead community to galvanize against Eric July in earnest. The first major homosexual operation by Dick and his community would involve a children's charity, Comic Books for Kids. Dick had learned that Eric had an offer on his website that allowed fans to...
We covered this. I want to get to something we did not. Like, I'm at the point where like, here's the thing, okay? Absolute Superman was amazing. I gotta read it. I'm excited now. Also, good morning. And I'm not going to name names here, right? There are people that I need to do a stream about what I learned, being online or having a channel for as long as I have. But there are people that I thought I could take their word for. There are people that I trusted their word. I thought they were honest people. And a lot of times it's unfortunate, but it stabs you in the back. And there are situations like, you know, this kind of stuff when you only get one side of the equation. You always got to remember that there are usually more than two sides to a story. And the truth usually sits somewhere in the middle, right? And this was one of those situations. Wait. Oh, it's afternoon. My bad. I'm going to say I say good morning on Jackbox. What are you talking about?
Hundreds of conversations over the past 7 years.
Okay, and you've been on Twitter since 2010, Vito. What does this disprove? Also, it's interesting that you were the guy who got the DM first instead of Dick. While there's no way to prove that Dick or Vito had anything to do with contacting the ministry themselves, goddamn,
okay,
the ministry enjoy every second of what happened next. That is that the International School of Ministry served Rippaverse Publishing.
There's the answer to your question, Raymond.
Pointing out that the International School of Ministry was not the only organization to use the name ISOM before Rippaverse did. It wasn't the only ministry in the United States that used the name ISOM. We have the Indiana School of Ministry, the Illinois School of Ministry, and the Iowa School of Ministry, all of which use the acronym ISOM. So the International School of Ministry didn't care to enforce anything with these other ministries, but it did with a comic book. Maybe that comic making almost $2 million also has something to do with the lawsuit. lawsuit. And if all that wasn't enough, while all this was transpiring,
Oh my
Riley was still
God.
out in the field being a menace. And in his next attempt to get at young Ripper's gold, he would go to the tombstone.
So I learned from watching this. Now I know it wasn't Riley who made it there first, but I had no idea that Riley was on the way to his granddaddy's gravestone. So I hate that even myself in the past has framed this as good guy, bad guy, right, wrong, blah, 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 blah. This is fucked up. I know he didn't make it there. He did not make it there. Somebody beat him to it, right? But we can't pretend like this is normal behavior for online trolling. Like, yeah, I have nothing else to do, so I'm on my way to Isam's literal grave. I'm going to deface it. Like, okay, this is a joke, right? It's a joke. Okay. I'm not offended by jokes, but it's fucking weird. I don't know how to take you. You give off those, like, weird, like, school shooter vibes. It's fucking weird. Zeno says because Riley is a crazy person. Yeah, I mean, Mo, thank you so much for the peach. Riley is desperate to please Dick Masterton. I got this, Bebop. I got this. Riley is desperate to please Dick Masterson, who, in Riley's own words, is like a father to him. Oh, that makes me fucking sad. That makes me fucking sad. Wait, isn't Dick Masterson like the same age as him? That's sad.
One of Eric's great-grandfather, whose Isam's protagonist was named after, and piss on it. Now, this didn't actually happen, because another dickhead beat Riley to it first and posted a fucking selfie. Just a reminder, all of this happened because Vito Gesualdi was jealous of a successful black man. Now, Dick's community is...
I mean, I don't know if that's why it happened. I don't know if that's actually why it happened. That would be for Vito to say. But, like... It's fucking weird, you guys. It's fucking weird. Even Gary says sometimes people take jokes too far. And I have no problem with jokes. I have no problem with trolling online. Like, I still fuck with people, right? Like, I leave passive-aggressive. I know I shouldn't, but sometimes I do. Leave passive-aggressive comments on people like the Quartering. Because he's a fucking douchebag, and I want him to know that. I want him to be aware. I think he is aware. But I make sure. And I know I'm a bitch. But this is another level.
Especially Vito found this shit hilarious. The non-degenerates didn't find this shit so funny.
I'm not gonna lie, this is one of the more difficult videos that I've had to record. The reason I'm doing it is because I just want folks that maybe missed this to just understand what type
and
of
I don't even like
individuals
Eric. That's what's so weird about this.
Up they really are. One of these detractors went to my great...
Yes, while he didn't approve of what the dickheads were doing, he didn't condemn any of it either, and was still on friendly terms with Dick and Vito. This didn't sit right with Ripper, who thought it was kinda messed up that Ethan could be so friendly with dudes who literally said that they wanted to harm Eric's business.
Were you trying to ruin Eric's business?
With the charity, no.
Are you trying to ruin Eric's business now?
Yeah. I don't think anyone should buy Eric's comics.
Eric expressed these...
I mean, I'm not trying to ruin anyone's business. Isn't that fucking weird, you guys? Like, okay. I don't have a stake in this whatsoever because I don't buy comics from Eric. I've reviewed a couple. I didn't think they were great. Don't get along with Eric. Think he's kind of an asshole. Super pretentious. Not into his type of content. His, like, rage baity content, right? I don't want to ruin his business. I don't want to ruin anyone's business. I'll make fun of you. I'll criticize you. But I am not going to say, I'm trying to ruin your business. It's fucking weird. Do you constantly mess around with that Radke con? I do. Fuck Ronnie Radke. And his pretentious ass bullshit. Yeah, I do. But I don't want to ruin his music. I actually enjoy Falling in Reverse quite a bit. But I like fucking with him because he's a sensitive ass bitch. The taste of revenge is so sweet. I mean, but revenge, okay. I guess I don't disagree. We're seeing a lot of I told you so's when it comes to the Trump shit, right? But here's the thing. What is better than revenge? What is better in a situation like the Riley group versus Eric July? I mean, honestly, it's being successful. It's having your book sell each time you put one out and getting it delivered on time. And you know what Eric does do now that I'll give him credit for that he didn't do before? Is ignore them. And it drives them fucking crazy. One time Tony fucked with me in my comments and said something and I believed him. Right? So I fucked with him back. I said, Eric July made a video about you. He was so fucking excited. That's what they want, his attention. Don't get me wrong, it's internet, blood sport, whatever. I don't care. But ignoring them, isn't that better than revenge? Being successful? Isn't that better than revenge? Again, coming from somebody who extremely dislikes Eric July. I'm just saying. I don't do revenge, I have a life, right? That's what I'm saying. It's so fucking weird. If Falling in Reverse lost everything, I wouldn't care. Yeah, he shouldn't have blocked me. You know what his newest own was? I fucking hate Ronnie Radke. I hate that I like him. His newest own was to tell somebody that didn't like his music, show him his bank account that he had $10 million in the bank. Cool. You know what the funny part about it was, though? Nearly all of it was pending. It was fucking ridiculous.
His frustrations via DMs to EVS. Unfortunately for Eric, he didn't account for one thing. Ethan Van Sciver pulling an Ethan Van Sciver. In October of 2023, just a little while after the Tombstone selfie incident, Ethan dropped some DMs exchanged between him and Eric July that he framed as a threat, like they were Taliban night letters or something.
So I got a text saying someone's dropping private tweets on Twitter from me.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he was kind of like fucking weird about it. Not a groupie if I troll them. Ronnie Radke, all he has to do. Oh, there's only one thing. There's only one thing he's got to do. He's got to unblock me on TikTok. That's it. And I actually haven't went on my TikTok in like months. But he still has to unblock me. It's the fact that he blocked me that drives me fucking crazy. Because I didn't do anything except for call him a soft F. All I did was call him names. And say he was soft. And he needed to learn how to take criticism. That's all I did.
Okay, let's go through this real quick. Okay, so Ethan has posted a DM to me. He says, this is me, and this is what it is that I said. I said, I'm going to be 100 with you and not be public with it. You're going out of your way.
Empaz, Todd, good morning.
Out of his way.
Afternoon, I mean.
Is whack. It's even weaker that you lay credence to their narrative. I treat you like I do anybody else in this space, and I do not use my platform to amplify narratives that go against others I'm cool with. Everybody I do shows and streams knows not to bring up any gripes with people I'm cool with, as I will not give it the time of day. I'm going to start reciprocating on that. If you want to chat about it, you're free to call. What the fuck? And now he's in the chat. He says, let's be honest about it. You're trying to... What are you talking...
Exactly. It's the principle of the matter. I don't care that I don't use TikTok. I don't care. It's a stupid platform. I mean, it's not stupid. Sometimes it's funny. But still, you get what I mean. It's the fact that he blocked me that drives me insane. And it only proved that he was a soft-ass bitch who can't take criticism. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Fucking tea drinker.
Talking about, Ethan? Trying to silence you. What are you talking about? How is this trying to silence? You are a grown man with your own platform. How on earth can I silence you? What are you talking about, homie? It's a personal tip, bro. We supposed to be cool. I can't talk to you in private, clearly, because maybe that, obviously to you, we weren't cool like that. We talked about it on the phone. There was nothing. We got an understanding, and now it's all I'm gonna put his DMs on black. What the fuck? I ain't done nothing to you, bro. What was the point of this?
Rippa was completely blindsided that Ethan would do something like that.
Oh shit, Raymond's got a point. I forgot all about that. And when he threatened me, like, stop running your mouth, or I'm gonna show them emails. Okay. Do it. I don't care. I called his bluff, and he is also, just like Ronnie Radke, a soft-ass bitch. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Like this because he wasn't paying attention, because he never watched any of shitty webcomics videos about Comicsgate, probably because their old channel with tons of videos exposing EVS and CG got flagged down. Anyone who had been paying attention to the
Oh, of course it did. I used to watch them.
Shenanigans of Ethan Van Sciver over the years knew this play was perfectly in character for the Frog King. Ethan even did a little skit with Riley when he suddenly popped over at his warehouse to show how much of a
Oh yeah, that was funny.
But you see, Uncle Ethan was confused. He thought this signature move of his would work just like it worked with Duck to Naples. But he forgot two things. The first thing he forgot was that he didn't have his dedicated Gay Op Battalion war campaign to go after Eric and perpetuate Ethan's narratives like they usually did. The second thing he forgot was that Eric July was never part of Comicsgate. There wasn't that much crossover between the Comicsgate community and the Young Rippa 59 community.
I mean, they're both selling comics. That's all it was. That's all it was. Who cares? You, like, just because Eric is making comics doesn't mean that somebody else is not. I do think, and I've thought this from the very beginning, and it was actually, Eric, I think, launched ISOM #1 when Ethan, right around the time Ethan came on my show. And I said there was going to be contention because of how successful Eric was. And he said I was trying to, put them, at odds with each other. I knew it wasn't going to be long before Ethan got butthurt, because that's what Ethan does, that somebody else was more successful to him, and he was the main person in Comicsgate. He was the big artist. He worked at DC. But somebody sold more, and that hurt his tiny little ego. I'm just saying.
And Eric already had a bigger individual audience than the rest of Comicsgate combined. So any attempt at mobilizing...
I objected to the grave thing. And Tony, and that's kind of what I was talking about earlier about trusting people, Michael. We all make some mistakes trusting people, and I have, in the past. And then, what was it, TJ? I think calling you a Rippa plant? That was fucking stupid. Anybody that's been here for more than 2 minutes would know that you're Michael, right? Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to even say. Mo, thank you so much. Mo said Eric makes comics. I thought Isom was like toilet paper. It is toilet paper. I mean, you could buy toilet paper, or you could have this luxurious toilet paper with pretty pictures. Not always pretty pictures, sometimes decent pictures, to wipe your ass with. It might be a little bit more expensive, but think of the notoriety of having the very first ISOM toilet paper. Come on now. That's pretty cool. Oh, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap up. I will put this, because this is like, this is worth checking out. I'm going to put it in the description, and I'll pin it after the stream is done registering. You guys can definitely check this out on your own. There's a lot more information in here. It's really, really well done. It's by Mikey No More. Mikey No More. Great job on this. Nothing in this video is funny. It's well done. That's what I'm saying. It's very well done. For a documentary type thing, bravo. Anyways, have a wonderful weekend, everyone. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.